Hello, my name is Salom here with Emerge.coach, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel for personal development. Today I want to talk about a very important subject, and it is about defining your own concept of success. What is it? What does it look like? And how do we get it? We all want to understand what success looks like so that we can aim to get it. Now, the trick about answering that question and why it's often so difficult is because success is a fingerprint. What that means is it is unique to each one of us. And it will only be through an internal exploration that we're going to figure out what that really truly looks like. Now, in the general concept of success, I can define it as the absolute feeling of joy and happiness. That is really what it stands for. Now, what that looks like to you is what we're going to try to discover today with this exercise that I have done very effectively with some of my clients in order to help them understand their nature and with it, their concept of success. So let's get right to it. Basically, the biggest challenge that we are facing in order to discover this concept of what success is to us, it's because of lifelong programming. We all have a lot of codes, a lot of principles and values that have been inherited from our environment, our family, our culture, the country, the continent, etc. So it is passed on from generation to generation, some certain ideas of what truly success looks like. And unfortunately, some of those concepts may or may not align to your nature and to your concept of what success really should be. So if you find yourself battling and achieving a lot of things in life and yet not quite getting to that state of happiness and joy, then you're not quite successful yet. You just have been following a path that has been taught to you, but not necessarily a path that is aligned to your nature. And that's just not how we're going to find success. So the first part of the exercise that I want us to do is to acknowledge, not yet challenge, but definitely acknowledge all those codes and principles that have been implanted, I should say, in our brains from our family, from our past experiences, from a lot of things that may or may not be ours. So it's not about agreeing or disagreeing with them, at least not yet. We're just going to acknowledge what has been passed on to us, what's coming from an outside influence, and write things down, because that's how we best internalize all of the process that we do in rationalization. So write it all down. How many concepts of success are there within the family members? Which ones do you tend to agree with more? Which ones feel like you've been following, but maybe they don't feel right? Which ones did you learn from your teachers, from your friends, from your best buddy, from your brother, sister? Just try to explore as many people and as many outside influences so that you can then make a nice robust list about all these codes that we're going to then put through a process of original thinking, original rationalization to make sure that they're our own as well. So that's the first stage. Take your time to do this part of the exercise because it's not going to be something that comes up to you just naturally, because we've been coded for so many years since we have consciousness that it does feel like they're our own. So it will be a challenge to kind of separate, oh wow, yeah, this one, yes, I agree with or I don't agree with, but it was in my family before I got there. So you want to kind of break that down and separate that so that we can put it through a process later. Once you've done that list, then we come back and now we bring that attention inward. Now the exploration is going to be about us and our concept of success. So the second phase is I like to do it in 3 different exercises, and it really works well with my clients. So the first one I like to propose to you guys is about remembering the time in our teenagers, somewhere around 11 and 15, where we had ideals and we were rebellious and we were full of thinkings and actions. That is a time, a very powerful and quite honest time of ourselves where we're trying to find our identity and how we sit and fit within the world. Now, it is right after our parents stopped having that much influence in us, and right before society became the highest or the strongest influence in us. So somewhere in the middle there's a bubble of time where we're teenagers and we're full of passion. So try to go back into that time of your life and see, what were you about? What kind of music turned you on? What were your ideals? What did you tend to talk about? If you have a hard time remembering this time of your life, don't worry, happens to all of us. Go back and ask the adults in the time and see if they remember what you were about and how were you and what were you passionate about. Those are the things that we want to kind of start tapping back into, even though you were mostly wrong in that time, because it's an exploration time. We did a lot of mistakes as a teenager, but it is an honest and truest and purest stage of our lives. So go back there, write it all down, even if you agree with it or you don't agree with it anymore, it's okay. Just put it all down on a piece of paper and let it sit there until we finish all the exercises. Then the next part of it is about imagination. It is about taking our being, who we are, and changing some factors and elements of our environment, the environment that we grew up in, to see what fits better. So if you were born in a certain country, change the country. If you were born in a certain financial status, change the financial status. Whatever it is that you were born with that you know very well, change it up and see if maybe there is a different type of reality where somehow things feel natural and easier and just sits well with you. It feels like you're flowing with the wave as opposed to swimming against the current. So change a lot of elements, change the values that you were raised with, change the concept of success. If you were born in a family, say, of doctors, then picture yourself in a family of musicians. Or if you were born in a family of, I don't know, just kind of think about it in your own way and try to create a different alternative reality, if you may, of what would have been if you had grown up in a different environment, in an environment where somehow you feel well. And what would you be pursuing? What would you be about? Again, write it all down, put it in the same book in the next page, so that we can then start grasping a little bit more about what we are and who we are in our true core nature. And then the third exercise is about connecting back to the things that come natural and easy to us. See, in life, things are not necessarily meant to be hard. There's enough challenges as they are. Some things should be natural to us. So we go back and connect and think, what things come natural to me? What's in my nature? In my case, I like to break down situations. I think a lot. I talk a lot. It became my mission, my career, my purpose. So what comes natural to you, it's going to be very important into defining your nature. What is it that you are? Do you see everything in equations? Or can you make music out of anything? It is whatever it is. There is no right or wrong answer. Just connect courageously to the nature of what your being was brought up to be. Not by your family, but before that. So connect to that. And I know it's a very scary process sometimes to be writing down certain things that just somehow contradict everything we're about, everything we've already built. It's like, oh my God, do I need to start over again? Yes and no, because everything you've been through will bring new tools and new skills for whatever we're going to. But until you make friends with your true nature, you're not going to achieve that success that you're looking for. So this process of self-introspection is going to be imperative for your success and your happiness and your joy. So those are the three exercises. Once you've gone back into your teenagers and remembering that, then you've imagined yourself in different scenarios and see what feels easier, what feels like it fits well within your body. And then also try to become friendly again with things that come natural to you. You're going to start realizing a little bit about what you are in nature, what you truly should be about. And then that's how you align your concept of success. Because if for any reason your nature and your concept of success are in conflict, you're only going to find frustration and unhappiness. The only way to get that joy and that happiness is when your concept of success is very much aligned to your nature. And that's how you find it. Now, That's very scary, I understand. And in many ways, it's going to take a lot of courage for us to take a stand for what our true nature is, and even decide, yeah, okay, so now I have to readjust my path, and a lot of the things that I have been fighting for have been outside of alignment. But it's better now than later, because this lifetime is about being successful at the end of the day. So continue to think about all of that. And if you find that your concept of success and your nature are in conflict with everything that you were brought up to believe, then that's the time you're in a pickle. This is the time we may need to be okay with challenging some of the thoughts and some of the concepts of success that have been passed on to us. Because we need to make a decision between being true to what is real to you and just being true to what is real to someone else. And it's not going to be a possibility for you to become happy by following someone else's concept of success. Until you have the courage to follow your own, you won't achieve that level of joy and happiness and success with it. So I hope that offers a little bit of food for thought. It is not about going into a rebellion state. It's about exploring and being free yourself a little bit from the limits of all the thoughts that have been passed on to us. Just temporarily, just release yourself from them. Imagine, remember, reconnect, and hopefully you'll find a little bit more about what that nature is. If you continue in the path of not aligning your nature to your concept of success, you're going to feel like you're in a labyrinth that never has an end. If you have that feeling of swimming against the current and you're just hitting a wall and then another wall and then another wall and it feels frustrating, well, that is the reason why your nature and your concept of success are disaligned. So it is about having that moment of courage and going for it. I encourage you to do it. I hope you do. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm here to help as best as I can. Leave some comments on the boxes below. If you have any questions, I'll get to them and answer them as best as I can. If you want some privacy in your question, go ahead and send me an email. It's D as in Diana, S as in Salom, at Emerge.coach. That is coach, not com. So again, DS at Emerge.coach is my email address, so go ahead and send me an email. Or you can go ahead as well if you feel a little bit courageous, you want to talk to one of us in our team in Emerge. So feel free to I will link the scheduling system here somewhere so that you can go ahead and schedule yourself in our calendar and have a chat with us. This is a free, for the first time kind of conversation, so feel free to do it, explore what we can find. And again, we're here only to help you achieve your happiness and your joy. So I hope that helped a little bit. If you have any questions, reach out to us. My name again is Diana Salom with Emerge.coach.